let me close the music. It was kind of. All right. Hide this ad. Blog this ad. Good evening, everyone. How's it going? Live chat. Why? So I see Roger Cormier is here. How's it going, Roger? Let me come here. It's going good. It's Friday. Awesome. Good evening, Marilyn. Thank you so much for stopping by. How's it going? Did you guys get like the crazy wind we got last night? My girlfriend sent me a message while I was at work saying that there was more tiles from the roofing that came off. I went around the house. I checked. I don't think that we have any issue. There's just one spot that I'm not 100% sure, although it's been raining like crazy today. So if it was anything bad happening, it would probably have been raining inside the house, unless it got stuck in the ceiling somewhere, which I hope not. I'm gonna have to look. My balcony is entirely destroyed. Well, not the balcony, but the railings, all the protection around. I think I'm gonna try to find some pallets. Oh, thank you, baby. Look how nice. Awesome. Thank you, baby. I think I'm gonna try to find some pallets and do a little tiny something cool around. I think I would need to get some paint, and not paint but stain, just something to stain all around so that the water doesn't destroy everything. Magdalena, I think this thing can probably do what you showed me, because of this year. It's not like crazy sharp, but I was looking at it and I'm pretty sure I could do the same thing. Just to come back to the pallets, I've seen some stuff being done with pallets where you put the pallets down and you would put like two on top of each other, and then maybe like 2 or 3 just half ones on top at the edge. Those would not only serve as safety so that you don't fall out of the balcony, but it would also serve as a little bench, and I could do that all around. Now, I don't know if I can if I could even find that much pallets, but yeah, you had it during the day. Okay, yeah, I think it was during the day yesterday as well. Good evening, John. How's it going? And yes, it's kind of sad, really, but it is life. I mean, I feel blessed that I was able to even go for the first 3 years, and it kind of sucked that it was being organized by my friend Scott this year, and I couldn't make it because my provincials are coming. I still have to do the video, so hopefully, I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow, but Sunday I have to go out and film the video that he wants me to present for the people over there. Worst comes to worst, I'll do something straight up and do like I would do if I was in front of a crowd. I don't think I will need a lot of editing, except maybe like a few pauses here and there just to make it shorter and quicker. And but I know what I'm going to talk about. I know all the points I have. ChatGPT helped me a little bit in terms of organizing the stuff I wanted to talk about. And I have my answers. It's just that ChatGPT kind of provided me with questions and a template of, okay, well, you should start by introducing yourself. So I'm introducing myself. And then it says you should say, what you're doing and how long you've been doing it, and so on. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm taking answers from ChatGPT. It's just, um, it's helping me to synchronize or to organize everything, and hopefully I'll be able to make something nice. I don't know. I went outside this week. John, you're here. Maybe you would know the answer to my question. I have some apple trees that I air grafted last year, and I put them in the soil in the ground. I think it was like late spring, early October. Uh, the ones that were nearby, I ended up picking them up uh, definitely at the end of September, and there was some that I got during the grouse season, which would have been early October, simply because I had Pew Pew with me and was protecting me from potential bears. I put those branches in the ground. Some of them had like a define or like a hair of roots. Some of them, from what I read, it was just um, little white bumps, which would mean that it was actually trying to heal itself. But I put everything in the ground regardless. I had to put some what's it called? Some ropes and T-bars, just so that I could stabilize the tree standing up. Now, if I have some what appears to be new growth, or at least young growth, and I can see the little buds forming on them, like, that it's not something that was there last year, because at the end of fall, or at the end of summer, early fall, obviously the leaves are falling, and you wouldn't have any beginning of buds, right? So if I see that, does that mean that my tree is going to take off, or it simply means that it is still currently alive right now, and maybe might still need um, some compost or any nutrients to help him grow better? Because I have about 10 apple trees back there that looks like they're still alive. And if it worked, if they are still alive, that means that I got 10 apple trees for free. Some of them would have been white apples. I don't know the name types of apples, but some of them would have been like the white ones. Some of them would have been golden delicious. There were some crab apples. Those I've seen roots, so those I know that they grow. They're growing. Um, I have what I think would be like Cortland, Macintosh. Um, there's another one that looks like Pink Lady. Um, Sound like it's still alive, which is a good thing. It may take a year or two to get the roots really established. You can compost around them, but make sure not to bury the graft part. Not to bury the graft part. So just to make sure I understand what you're trying to say, and you understand what I did, I put those little grafting root balls, plastic balls, and I cut the cambium around the branch. I added some rooting hormones and some soil, and held it close for about 2-3 months. And then, so let's say this was my branch, and it was, the branch was growing that way. Okay, this was attached to the tree, so I came and I cut it here. So this part here is where I had cut the cambium and the bark and all that stuff from the apple tree. And around here is where it seems to be either healing, or like in the middle somewhere, I would have like a tiny hair of roots. So when I put them in the ground, obviously I put that deep. But like there's no tree attached to it other than the branch and what I thought, or what I think is actually the beginning of roots. I've bought a few 2 years old trees that lived the first year in the ground. They died the second year. Okay, so yeah, they may still be alive right now, but they may die. Yeah, like the branches are not grafted to anything. Like they're just, their roots are growing on the branch, and I cut the branch and put that in the soil. So I'm hoping that this will survive. I'm hoping that it's actually going to make something cool. I understand now. I heard grafting. If you have buds, it sounds like it's probably living than if there are buds. Okay, awesome. So yeah, let me try to find a video if I could. It's called air grafting, or some people call it air layering. Air layering. So, okay, let me share my screen. Present. I'm going to share a short of what I did. Might not work. It's not allowing me to show YouTube. Okay. Well, I'm going to share the video so you guys can go and take a look. And I'm going to give you a few seconds. That guy went crazy overboard with what he did. He's done multiple layers on same tree. I don't know what type of tree he took, but he's explaining exactly what I did. Yeah, it's a cutting. So basically, I'm hoping that the roots survived. I know that I was able to take some little shoots from one of Sear's apple tree, and that one had roots. So hopefully it survived. I had it in a pot here for like 2 months, and I could actually see some new growth on it. So I'm guessing that these ones definitely survived. Sorry. But I'm just curious to see those air layering ones. And I was also given some rose cuttings, and some of them add roots, some of them did not. And I was told that you could take the cuttings and simply put them in the ground, and as long as you had somewhat decent soil, the branches were going to start making roots, and they were going to start growing. So I don't know. I don't know if it's working that way, but I'll see in a few weeks, I suppose, if it worked. And I did the same thing with some blackberries, but I had some blackberries already back there, so I might never know if it actually worked or not. I had some with the roots, so I guess we'll see. Shawnee Grows, thank you so much for stopping by. How's it going? I've seen videos and tried on blueberries before. I tried on apple trees, gooseberries. I think that's it. And on the gooseberries, when I opened the ball, it was literally full of roots. But those are shrubs. They're pretty easy to propagate. I mean, you just have to put the branch in the soil and it's going to create roots, and then you just have to cut it and you have a new plant. Same as all the currants, raspberries, blackberries. I think you can just put a branch in the soil and it should work. How long did you have it in the ball for? I would probably have put them in pots for the first year to get a good root ball. It's good to try different things to see what happens. True. Maybe this year that's what I should do. Although I've noticed that the big balls don't work as well. If I take just the tiny branches, anything smaller than this marker here seem to be working a lot better. So I know this year I'm just going to take the small, tiny, transparent plastic ones. But I put them, I'm going to say mid-May to mid-June. So because I started doing some around mid-May when I got back from the conference last year. And as soon as it started getting really warm, mid-June, I stopped putting those balls. Some of the apple trees I visited in the fall, some bears went by and they shred my my plastic root ball apart. Some of them I waited until the leaves were. I'm not gonna say the leaves were all down, but to the point where it was easier because the grass, like after the first frost, I'd say the grass was all falling down, and it was a lot easier for me to walk to get to the apple trees. I also had a pew because it was hunting season, and it was allowing me to protect myself from potential bears. So I'm gonna say 3 to 4 months is the amount of time I had them on the branches. Well, yeah, I tried to put some of my Champagne Gadelle Blanche in the soil. I'll have to check if they stayed there and bring some rocks to make them roots. Cool. I understood. The pink currant, champagne, pink champagne currants. No worries. The one you gave me, the cutting you gave me a while back, I don't think it survived. Unless it started rooting and it just let the branch, the stem die so that it could focus on the roots. So maybe I'll have some roots, but I really doubt that anything happened. Member for 11 months. And I think all of those memberships were gifts. Still cool. I'm not complaining. Oh, and let's see. Boom. So Robin, the Oklahoma Grammy, Sandra Medrano, Adventure with Outdoor Eagle, Little Ridge Farm, and Just Doing Our Best all got free membership to my channel. And let's do it again since I have another 5. Not for Nothing Homestead, Rebecca Touched by Yarn, Chris Creation Fun, Jessica's Dumpster Girl, and Wild Edibles. Awesome. I love the way that it's done because I don't always have the same people being members, and it's allowing me to show stuff to more people. Although I have to admit that I haven't really been active for the members other than posting a few pictures here and there and posting videos earlier than when I post for other people, for the public. But summer's coming. Handball will be done. My daughter will be done with volleyball, dance, and all that stuff. I'm going to be out a little bit more. I should have a lot of cool stuff coming. Hopefully, I'll be able to catch up to you guys. Saying hi, saying hi. Tiffany, how's it going? Your boyfriend just won a free membership to my channel. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. My computer is, the fan just went on. But it's actually very warm, very humid right now. So I'm guessing that this summer is going to be very bad. Well, in my defense, I got 3 screens for that one computer. I have the laptop there. I have this computer that I use. Well, it's not working like very well right now, so I just use it to give people watch time and stuff. And I have that one that I use as a server, but I try to give myself some watch time as well. So, yeah, I got like 4 computers running and a bunch of monitors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know, I just saw as I clicked on a live. Cool. You're wearing ads. If I was going to try earlier my peach trees, should I be starting now while they are still dormant? You want to be careful. So from what I understand, if it's too cold, you might actually kill the branch, because the cold snap could actually attack the wood part. And I was told that as long as you take the root ball before the first few frosts, because if it gets cold and you have roots forming, it will also kill the roots. So you have to start when they're starting to come out of dormancy, but when it's not too warm. So for me, my last frost date is around June 1st, end of May, early June. So I was told that the best time for this would be like the first week of June. So I don't know. I would go about, give or take, a week or 2 before your last frost date, not too early, because if it gets cold, you might kill the branch. That it will still send energy to the branch, and that's the goal. That's the point. That's what you want, because once that the wood part or the branch itself is removed from the cambium, it will either start healing, or if doable, it will start looking for a way to protect itself, and the energy going up the branch will hopefully create some roots. That's the goal anyway. Like, I wouldn't, make sure you don't kill your tree. I don't want you to kill your peach trees trying this method. If it's, it might not work on peach trees. I was told that it should work on pretty much every tree, but I've had like 2 of my out of maybe 20 apple trees that produce what I could definitely see as roots on a branch. Maybe it was because my soil was not right. Maybe it was because it was too warm, too cold, too humid, not humid enough. Like, I don't know. I suggest you go and take a look at a few different videos and ask questions. You can always do a little research on it for yourself and see exactly, like, they might tell you exactly what's the best time. I'm not an expert. I'm still just trying to figure it out. But still, like, all the apple trees I took were wild trees. Like, I didn't take the apple trees I had here. I took some apple trees that were growing wild. So I know that even if I killed one of those trees, it was not an issue, because the owners of those trees are not even aware that those trees are there. Most of them, the apples are delicious, but they're full of animals that go after them, either birds, grouse, bears. Sometimes they're growing straight in a bunch of branches or different kind of trees, and they don't get enough energy to produce like the proper size of fruits. There's one apple tree that grows not too far from here. I just hope that one of those branch takes out, because it's growing those like gigantic apples that when they grow well, like I took a bite out of one of those apples and I almost choked because it was um, very, very, very juicy and it was delicious. Now I know of about 200-300 different apple trees around here growing in the wild. Obviously, I didn't try them all. Some of them are not good apples. You know, when you get apples like this big, it's pointless to try to go and grab some. But there's a few ones on Sarah's property that I told him I was going to help him out to clear around them, and he told me that I could air graft on him if I wanted to, because anyway, I'm just going after the branches that he needs to cut. He needs to prune them anyway. Also, I took some branches from the cuttings. I started pruning my apple trees here, and I took some of those branches. The ones I have in water with rooting hormones are doing good. The ones I have in the soil are doing amazing. The ones I have outside don't seem to be doing anything so far. But it could just be because it's still too cold for them to come out of dormancy. And the ones I have inside, obviously, is getting warmer inside. So they could be getting out of their dormancy. And like we were saying last week, Marilyn and I, it could simply be the energy still left in the branch, in the cutting itself. So maybe the branch is not even alive. It might just be the energy left. But what encourages me about those apple trees outside is last year I had 2 pear trees. I don't know if they caught a disease or what happened, but the 2 pear trees I had died. But they had leaves on them until, late summer, and they still had energy in them. I thought for sure they were still alive, because when I checked the branches, they was still green under the bark. But I checked them this spring, and you could see that they were rotten. I mean, I just took the branch and I would just squeeze them with my thumb, and it would literally just crack. They were really, really, really dry. And all those air grafted apple trees or apple branches or whatever you want to call them, when I scratched like one of the small branches, they all seem to be still alive. There's still energy in them. They're still green. So I'm guessing that if it was just a branch that died off, it would not have any energy left, because I've seen it with pear trees that spent 6 months in the snow, in the cold, and they ended up dying. It's more than 6 months. So it was early October. So October, November, December, January, February, March. That's 6 months. April, May, almost 8 months. I'm looking to get some more plum trees. I have some in the front of my property, but they got caught by that black knot fungus. So I want to keep them in front of the house. I know they might still produce, and they're still good. The fruits are still good. It's just that the tree itself doesn't look too good. It's not like appealing when you look at it, but it's still alive. It's still going to produce fruits, and the fruits are still good. But I'm going to keep it in front of the house. And unfortunately, I have some cherry trees not too far from it. So it will probably infect my cherry trees. So I'm going to need to try to find some more cherry trees in the future and put them somewhere else on my property. It's kind of scaring me a little bit, because on that side of the house, it's going downhill, and Makilan, why do you keep giving me bad news like this? on that side of the house, it's like a big hill. It's going down until it gets to the neighbor's property. So right in the middle of it, there's like a little, it goes down and there's a little platform and goes down again. So in the middle there, I want to plant a bunch of fruit trees. So you're telling me that I probably infected all my trees here. Plum cherries. But I keep it low. Like as soon as I see black knot coming out, I cut the branch. And I read that if you sterilize your cutters, and I burn them, like I take them slowly to the fireplace and I burn them right away. And I read that this might keep the fungus down, and eventually the tree might even start fighting it back, and you might get rid of it. Although chances are slim, but as long as you keep the black fungus out, you should be all right. Cut the knot as much as you can and don't bring those affected branch. Yeah. So I take them very, very slowly and I take them to the fireplace right away. Yeah, well, that's what I try to do. But regardless, at least I know those plum trees are going to give me plums. I don't mind as much for my cherries because I'm not a big fan of cherries. I have a few kids that eat them, but by the time they get ripe, the birds go after them and they eat them anyway. That fungus doesn't really go after the apple trees, from what I read. And it doesn't go like after the cranberries and stuff. It would just go after the plums and cherries. But I have some choke cherries in the back, and apparently those are bad for black knot fungus. So either way, I was probably doomed to get them to get like the fungus anyway. From what I can see, my blueberries, even the wild ones, survived. I am pretty sure that all my raspberries survived. I have some blackberries that definitely survived because they've been there for more than 2 years now. The currants, I had the white ones, the black ones, the red ones, they all survived. Although I want to take the black ones and put them somewhere else. I might put them in front of the house because I'm going to have a little fence of roses. And in front, I might put those little shrubs. So it could be cool to have those. And even if they start growing and spreading, you can just cut them right away. That might be the best thing to do. Oh, and one thing that was pretty cool, my sea buckthornberry shrubs seem to still be alive. And my I have firecracker in mine. I don't know why. I think that's because one of the type is like firecracker, but my goji berry shrubs are still they seem to be doing well. It's weird because when you look at the trees and shrubs at this time of year, they almost look like they're naked. They look naked. But if you start looking at the branches individually, you can see that they're still alive and there's still something going on. So it's going to be interesting to see. I bought some new cutters to cut my my grapes and stuff because I didn't want to take those infected ones until I had a chance to sterilize them. From the brand Black & Decker at Dollar Store. So I'm guessing that, okay, Dollar Store is not necessarily known to be like the best brand ever, but Black & Decker is known to be a pretty solid brand. So for $5, I got those cutters. I will cut my grapevines, the ones that are growing backwards, and keep the ones that are growing like forward on my trellis. And hopefully I'll be able to propagate them because I know how to propagate them now. You just plant at least 2 to 3 buds in the ground, and you have at least one bud coming out. And as long as you have about 10 to 12 inches of cutting, then it should work. And I have some pretty decent grapes here. Some that are pretty cool, pretty good, tasty, and they don't have any seed in them. So we'll be able to share some with my colleague. I wanted to share with my brother first, but he decided to just go online and order some from Pépinière Ancestrale, the same company I ordered some from last year or 2 years ago. And I have one of my colleague that had, it wasn't like a super big TV. I think it was 32 inches, still pretty decent TV. And she gave it to me for one of my kid, and all she wanted in return was for me to give her a few gardening stuff, like a few trees and stuff like that, cuttings whenever I had a chance. So I already gave her, what was it last year? I think it was, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I gave her something last year. It could have been raspberries, but I will give her some more this year. As soon as I can see some starting to pop out, I will go and dig some out. I will be sharing the bounty with some colleagues, because a lot of people at work now want to start gardening, which is pretty cool. I love it because, you know, it's free food. You know where it's coming from. It's a lot cheaper to have raspberries just go free and wild and go crazy on its own. If you can get 5 pounds a year, that's what, like 45, $50 you're saving per year for having one cutting at some point in your life. Like, I mean, I bought the one plant from Walmart. I think it cost me like anywhere between $7 and $10. It was almost at the end of the season, and I planted it. I thought it was dead, and here I am 10 years later harvesting about 1 cup of raspberries from early September until mid-October, which is crazy. And they're delicious. They're so tasty. And the best part of it about them is, in the fall, it's getting cold, or a little bit colder, so there's not as much bugs in them. So you don't have to clean them as much. Like, I mean, I still double check them, but they're so good. Like, they don't have any bugs around them. And if you take 1 cup at the store, it's around $78. So last year I probably harvested around 30 cups of raspberries. So, that's $200-300 worth of raspberries for that one cutting of $7 and $10. Good evening, Dave. Nice out. I was in the garden, obviously. I'm gonna start doing that too. As soon as I get up in the morning, go out in the garden and just look around and enjoy the beautiful view of all the fruit trees, my fruit forest. My oregano is still alive. I think that I have at least one sea kale growing. What else did I see? I have one American hazelnut still growing. I have my longanberries are still growing. Because I transplanted them last year, and they seem to be bigger now than they were last year. They were growing in a place where they didn't have much sun, and they were about this big, but they probably double in size since I transplanted them. Gave them some compost. I transplanted them somewhere where they would have more sun and not as much water. I had them in a place where the grass doesn't really grow, and where it was, I'm not gonna say, well, not moss, well, kind of. It was really wet, and in the spring, it's always like the last place to dry out. and whenever it's raining hard, that's like the first place to stay wet. So I put my sea buckthorn berry shrubs there, which require a lot of water. And I took my longanberries and my cranberries, I took them closer to my grapes. Now I'm going to have the grapevines going on a trellis, but I have those shrubs growing behind them. But I say behind them, the sun from where I am goes like something like this, and I have them here. So they would get the sun from here because they'd be under, the vines are going to go on top here. So right here, they're going to get some sun until maybe like from 7 to 11 maybe, and then they're going to get a little bit more shade, and then around 4 p.m. they're going to get some sun again. My garlics are popping up. That's awesome. I see some strawberry plants starting to green out. I'm gonna need to take my strawberry bed there, and as soon as I can see where my strawberry plants are, I'm gonna take them out, put them in pots, and I will till that little garden bed. Maybe like simply scratch the top layer, put some more compost, and put like a tarp on it for a few weeks, at least. I'm gonna say at least for a month, so that I can kill all the weeds growing in my strawberry bed, and then I'm gonna put the strawberries back, like maybe in the fall. That's my plan anyway. I also have some strawberries growing in my garden, but the weeds, it's just crazy. I need to put my tarp all over the place, and I don't know how it would even go with planting carrots and potatoes here. My goal is to take the Proyama power tool that I have and go behind my dad's house where his property ends. I already asked the owner, they don't mind. So he would have about maybe um, 200 feet long by maybe 50 feet wide, where there's nothing. Like it's an old, very very old field, and there's a few like branches growing here and there, like a few shrubs. So we need to take my power tool just to go and cut everything out, so that a guy I know can come with his big tractor and till the the soil, have everything hopefully die off in the fall, and then have him come back next spring, till everything again, and then I would plant my potatoes there. So it would give me a place to plant my potatoes, maybe even my turnips and my carrots, and it would be a nice place where we could have a little family garden, have the potatoes on a big field like this. My parents, my brother, and myself could just enjoy some fresh grown homegrown potatoes, and then I would have all the vegetables here, all the fruit forests here, and keep growing stuff at the community garden, which would be awesome. The leaves have finally fell off the red oak. This means it is okay to plant outside. Cool. I'll be back. I have to make sure the baby rabbits are in their nest for the night. My garlic 6 to 8 inches tall here in Warkworth. Awesome. My first cutting of asparagus this week. Already? I don't even see them yet. Um, I'll be back in a few seconds. Just give me a minute. All right, welcome back. Sorry about that. I needed a quick break. I was talking about all my different fruit trees growing on my property. What else do I have that's interesting? I planted last year the stinging nettle that Jane gave me, and I planted them on my dad's property. When I got there in the fall, it seems like they were gone. I don't know if there's an animal that ate them, if they simply died, or if someone picked them up, or if someone knew what it was and decided that they didn't want that there. They were planted somewhere pretty random on my dad's property, so I doubt people would even know what it is. So I'm guessing that it was either after first frost. So maybe it just died off, and I'll see in a few weeks if it's still there. Hopefully it's still there. If not, I'll just put a bunch of seeds. I have exactly one asparagus shoot. I planted 4 corn and 1 pot last fall. It's the pot that's growing. Cool. Stinging nettle is about 6 to 8 inches tall here. Cool. We still have snow here. We still, well, like the main areas are pretty much snowless now, but like under the trees there's still a few inches of snow. The roads are still not all open in the woods. I can walk all around my property now, no problem, but there's like one spot in little slope that I have to jump because obviously that's where all the snow accumulates. My girlfriend is so nice. I start checking my plants, all the perennials I planted last year. They all seem to be doing fine. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I have some sea kale still growing. My goji berries seem to be doing okay. Will Green Permaculture just posted about stinging nettle at 6:30. Cool. Chocolate is my kryptonite, especially those Reese's Pieces. I mean, I can't resist them. Even if you told me that it was going to kill me to eat one, I'd probably die because I don't think I can say no. So what's everyone up to this weekend? I'll be spending lots of time outside for sure. I think it might be raining tomorrow, but Sunday should be nice. I didn't have time to go fishing yet. My brother's been fishing a few times now. I have no idea if he caught any. But the spring fishing is not the best fishing around here. I feel like we need to let the fish go up the river a little bit more. My nettles are doing fine here in Essex County. Welcome back. It's that time of year where all we do is count the days to when we'll see the first flowers, the first blossoms, the first leaves. It's when everything starts to come back alive. There's no better feeling, really. I started seeing like not the buds, but like the formation of the flower on all the elderberries around here. Not the elderberries, those two, but the Saskatoon berries. I can see that like a little bit of white starting to pop out of those branches. It's pretty cool. I mean, I usually don't notice them until, I'm going to say, mid-May. But then again, I'm usually at this time of year, like Magdalena was saying earlier, I'm usually not around. I find it's getting more humid. Like the winter's leaving. Summer is near. Because I can go in a room inside the house where it's 16 Celsius and I'm not cold. I can go outside at plus 10, plus 12. It's not cold. In the winter, when it says on the thermostat that it's plus 19, plus 20 inside the room, it's quite cold. All the little rabbits are doing good. We are done with new rabbits until August, I suppose. Awesome. I will try my rabbits one more time. And if they don't do anything good, they will go in the freezer and it will be the end of them. I mean, I love having their manure to put around my my shrubs and my fruit trees and stuff. But if they don't do what they're supposed to do, if they don't breed like rabbits, I'm not going to keep rabbits around. I didn't think I was going to be able to. Money wise, it's a little bit tight at this time this year. But I was still able to order 20 meat chickens. Definitely not enough for a year. But if we can compensate by having more fish, more grouse, if we could have more rabbits, and there's always a possibility of buying some more chickens on the second order, but the second order is not available here nearby. I have to drive about an hour to get some more. Already? I think I might have to plant my tomato seeds again. I don't even have tomatoes and peppers growing yet. I have a few kale, perennial kale from, according to the seed type anyway. I have a few onions, but not that much. I mean, I planted about 30 seeds of onions. I might have 5 that are growing. And I think that 2 of them are already dead. So I'm going to have to plant some more stuff. And we're supposed to repair the rabbit pen floor this weekend too. I cleaned them all this evening. Awesome. I have to do some more cleaning in my garage. This weekend is the weekend before the big spring cleaning, the garbage that they do like once a year. So everything that we've been hanging on in the garage because we can't get rid of it is going to go on the curb, and there's always a bunch of people driving around, picking up the stuff that we leave behind. I'll have an old fridge that's not working. Somebody's going to come and pick it up and try to fix it and sell it. I'll have some like the old drying machine frame. I'll have that on the side of the road. Someone's going to come and pick it up for all the metal and stuff. Plus, I'll have a bunch of garbage, old toys that are no longer working. Yeah, it's still good, but I mean, I need if we eat chicken like once a week, I need 52 chickens. I had to put the mower on the GD, 2 buckets of grass clipping into compost. That's awesome. I think all my 150 tomatoes germinated, even old seeds that don't want really, giving them to friends. Awesome. Too bad I don't live closer, because I would definitely pick some up. Also, not this weekend, but the other one after. It's Mother's Day for your information. Yes, I know. And it's not enough that I have to buy something for my mom. I also have to buy something for my kid's mom, because they don't work. I mean, the 2 oldest ones do, but the 3 youngest ones don't. So I need to find something to get her, to show her that I love her and I appreciate her. She's an awesome mom. I'm gonna go about 2 minutes of negativity here, not because I want to, but because I feel like it's important to talk about friends that pass away. Alain, he's an Arsenal, but he's not related to me. He's actually one of my good colleague, friend, boyfriend. Like, they weren't married. But whenever we have a staff party, that's always the place we go before we head to the party. We go there, have a few drinks before we head out to the actual staff party. And I always end up having a chat with him while the women do their thing, fixing their hair and makeup and whatever. So I stay downstairs and I have a chat with Alain. Last year is when we were really, I'm going to say connected, but we really had like a huge chat about, he was a big Montreal Canadian fan. He was a big hunting and fishing fan. He was kind of like me in the stuff we like to do. Family was important to him, and unfortunately he passed away last weekend. And it's been hard on it was not last weekend, it was the week before, because last Friday, the whole department went to the funeral. But I thought that it was kind of cool that, even though we can't really shut down a department, that the managers saw that as being very important, and allowed us to go, even if it was just like for 1 minute, to go see our colleague and wish her and condolences. It's never easy to talk about, and I mean, I think it was like, I'm gonna say natural causes. Like, it wasn't self-inflicted. It wasn't like an illness he had. it was fine one day and the next day it was gone. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to talk about it for too long, but just if my friend's watching, I just want you to know that I'm here for you. And um, I don't know. I just felt like talking about it. It's part of my life. It's part of who I am. It's part of what I do. My channel is mostly about me and my family, and that colleague in particular is one that told me when I left last year or a year. Well, it was a little bit more than a year ago. That she was disappointed because she saw me as a little brother. So I when I asked her if she needed anything, and I told her that if there was ever anything that she needed from me, to just give me a call and let me know. And she said, "Well, I always wanted a garden, and this year I'm gonna have one, so I would probably need your help building the garden." Um, and I was happy about that because I'm gonna be able to go and help her out, and this is right down my alley. I'll be able to uh, to help her out. Thank you, Marilyn. Let's change to more positive now. Um, I always took my wife to the drag races for Mother's Day in my 40s. Yeah, I always try to get my mom something that will last more than just this one time. You know what I mean? Like if I buy flowers, a bouquet, um, I feel like I hear something in the background. If I just buy my mom like a bouquet of flowers, in a few weeks they're going to die and it's going to be the end of it. So I try to get some perennials. Um, a couple of years back, I bought her a rose shrub, tree, bush, whatever you want to call it. Um, the couple of years back, I bought my girlfriend some lily flowers, and those are her favorite flowers, and they're perennial. So I was able to plant them in the ground, and they ended up coming back a few times until for some reason they just didn't. Um, that I always try to get something like that for my mom, something that she can plant on her property somewhere, and make the property nice. Well, it's something I love doing, and it's something that I feel like. I mean, I'm sharing everything I do for a reason. It's because I want to help and inspire people to do something good around them. And I'm involved in the community garden. I'm actually the vice president. Um, it wasn't planned, but I was asked to do it, and I'm like, okay, sure. Um, but just trying to find some ideas of stuff we can do and make the world a better place. Because if everyone is out gardening, growing awesome food, they're not doing bad stuff inside. Like, I mean, I might not be home doing the laundry and cleaning all the time, but in the summer, I'm outside in the garden. I'm getting some sun and I'm growing food for my family. And it's good for my mental health, it's good for my physical health, and I'm putting food on the table. And if I can inspire people to do that, I mean, it's a win-win because I get people interested in the subject. I get people out more. And if it's good for me mentally and physically, it's good for anyone else physically and mentally. I mean, even my boss, um, 4 or 5 years ago, she kept telling me how she had no green thumb. Like she wasn't even able to grow a plant she bought at the store. She she was taking seeds in her pack and just pushing them deep down in the soil as deep as she could because she didn't know better and she didn't really care at that time. But this year, for some, like she was all excited about, oh, I already have this and that planted, and I can't wait to start eating this and that. And she's not having this big, huge garden. She has a few fruit trees. I think she's got like 4 or 5 apple trees and like 4 or 5 plum trees. She has a few strawberries and she has a few. What else does she have? She has a few raised bed garden, and she's planting stuff in them and she's enjoying herself, and that's good. I mean, yeah, okay, like maybe her being like the manager and pharmacist and all that, like financially might not be the reason why she's growing food, but if it's helping her keep her mind off the stress of the job or simply just being outside, spending time with her kids, or being outside on her own and doing something that she starting to realize that she enjoys. I mean, that's all good stuff. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Uh, and it's fun because when I started doing the homesteading life, um, you know, more seriously when COVID started, being home and not really having anything more to do, I ended up researching and studying and learning all about how to grow food. I realized that there was a lot of people around me doing that kind of stuff. And I even have some pretty close friends doing that as well that I didn't even know were doing that. Like, not everyone is bragging around that they're growing like a 200 feet square foot garden. You know what I mean? Like, we have people that I work with that I know since high school, some that I know since kindergarten. They grow food. They have fruit trees. They have chickens. They have little garden. Like, I mean, some of them don't have this big huge garden where they can grow food for the whole family for a year round, but they at least have fresh carrots, at least like 4 or 5 suppers. They'll have a few beans, a few peas, radishes. Those are all fun to grow. Um, Even if it's not enough to provide for your family all year round, no matter what you have, it's is always better than nothing at all. I still have one piece of chocolate here. Sorry. Because once you start eating, like, I mean, I still remember going at my grandma's, and I've talked about that before. But I remember going at my grandma's, eating fresh carrots out of the garden. That's one of my best memory ever as a kid. Native plants is my passion. Gardening is my side job. I'll never understand how people can go hungry. I get that eating a dandelion is not as fun as eating a nice piece of ham with potatoes and carrots and salad. But fresh dandelion leaves in the spring is almost the same as spinach. People buy spinach at the grocery store. You can get that for free outside on your lawn. That's a weird movie playing right there. Um, there's not only the dandelion, but the spruce tips. Spruce tips in a few weeks are going to be awesome. You can put that in any salad. You can put that in uh, brown sugar. Um, hmm, weird movie. um, in the winter, it might be harder to survive without proper grocery. But I mean, every once in a while, I dehydrated 200 grams of dandelion roots. See, like the most important thing is to have the nutrients you need. Yes, maybe you'll feel hungry and it's not fun. I'm not saying that it's fun. I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying it's fair. But if you get the nutrients you need and you're hydrated and you get to eat a little tiny bit, you'll survive. And once again, it's not necessarily fun. And if I had to choose between a nice stuffed turkey with the whole shebang or dandelion and spruce tips, I go for the complete meal of turkey and vegetables and stuff. And as you just saw, I mean, I prefer eating a chocolate bar than eating dandelion roots. But if I had no other choice, you can't go wrong with spruce tips. You can't go wrong with dandelion. Anything that looks like dandelion, to my knowledge, is edible. Um, Anything that looks like raspberry is also edible. And I mean, you have one type of fruits for every season. You have well, growing naturally here. You have the strawberries, you have the raspberries, you have the blueberries, you have the hazelnuts, you have the dandelion early in the spring, you have the rose hips in the fall, you have the alder, uh, what's it called? Catkins. You can go hunt and fish for very, very, very cheap. And I mean, if you just take your time, it doesn't cost a lot to start a garden. You're going to end up eating a tomato from the store at some point. Why not keep the seeds? Yes, the plant might not be the best plant. It might not end up being like the best tasty tomatoes you've ever had, but it's still going to grow tomatoes. You can still grow an apple tree from or a seed from an apple. They might not be good, but there's still going to be apples at some point. It might take a while. You know what I mean? Like, there's always a way to get free food. People are so active in the chat tonight. It's crazy. Sarcastic, joking. Well, since you guys seem to be busy elsewhere, which is fine, I just like talking, and I'm just going to keep talking to myself for as long as I can if I don't stop. I'm going to let you guys go, and you guys will be redirected to Scott at Rambling with the Brooms live stream. And I'll probably see you guys Sunday morning, and I'll hopefully have some news about if there's anything else growing on my property. I have a few videos I want to make. I have a few companies that approach me to promote their stuff or to try out their stuff, which is pretty cool, and it's stuff that I can use. But my reply to them was, I mean, I would love to, but I just don't know if I can make a video long enough to be worth it with the item they want to send me. I mean, just as an example, if you send me a free pen, there's only so much I can do with a pen to make a video interesting. You know, I can't last 10 minutes with a pen. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, getting tired. I'm going to go see the second team provincials this weekend. They're playing tomorrow. They don't believe that they'll win the gold medal, but you know, any good result is good. They won their first game a couple weeks ago, and they were very happy about it. We borrowed their goalkeeper in our last tournament, and she helped us win a bronze medal in a very competitive tournament. So that being said, she's probably full of confidence right now, and they're just going to get better as time goes. So who knows what can happen this weekend. I'm going to be there and support them, and at least if nobody gets hurt and they have fun and they can compete well, so be it. All right, well, thanks for watching, and don't hesitate to share my videos, and don't forget the little thumbs up. It's really helpful, and I will see you probably Sunday morning. Take care. Bye.